Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. All right. Woo! It's another Thursday. It's Haunting Adeline Day. And boy, has Haunting Adeline been getting a little crazy. We kind of already know what's about to happen in today's episode. I ain't gonna lie to you. If you were here last week, Zayd was getting nasty with her in the House of Mirrors. We already know where this gonna go. I'll be surprised if she don't get fucked in the House of Mirrors. I'm gonna be surprised. But if she do, I'm gonna be like, yeah, we knew that was gonna happen. I even said at the end of this episode, at the end of the last episode, I was like, she getting fucked. It's gonna happen, man. They've been throwing some crazy, unnecessary sex scenes in there. You know, like I talked about it on one of the episodes where, when they were doing it in the movie theater or that little home theater or whatever. And I was just like, dude, we got time for this? So, yeah, it's going to get crazy. But first, before we get into Haunting Adeline, we do have our thread for today. Today's thread is, what is some of the guy code things that girls probably don't know about? All right. So girls, what are those guy code things you don't know about? Let's talk about it here. If we say something and you interpret it two ways and one of those ways upsets you, we meant the other one. Yeah, because a lot of times a guy is not going to say something to intentionally piss you off. You know what I mean? But a lot of times a girl will kind of interpret it that way and just be like, oh, really? And you're just like, bro, I didn't mean it that way. So yeah, that's kind of true. I ain't gonna lie to you on that one. Ever see a guy doing the old upper leg shuffle with a weird extension expression on his face? Yeah, he's unsticking his scrotum from his thigh. Facts. We all know it's happening, but we suddenly become blind as a bat when it is. Honestly, even when you get the odd guy even when you get the odd guy out that full on digs his hand down there for some manual adjustment, we all suddenly don't see a thing. Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Because your boys down there, if they're uncomfortable, it starts to hurt. All right. And guys know this because we know if we leave it too long, it's just going to be painful. We feel uncomfortable and we're like, nah, I don't give a fuck who's looking. You know what I mean? Like if I'm jiggling my shit, I'm making sure your boy's good. Yeah. Come on now. It don't matter what you're wearing. I'll do damn near anything to help you out of any situation, and I'll cuss you out the whole time for making it necessary in the first place. All right. Okay. All right. I'm tired. I don't feel like talking. Things this doesn't mean. Oh, I see. Okay, so if a guy tells you, I'm tired, I don't feel like talking, do not interpret it as, fuck you, you ugly, stupid bitch. Okay. I want to break up. Oh my God, you're annoying. I'm cheating on you. Remember that random girl I accidentally bumped into yesterday? We're getting married. Yo. What goes through you women's head? This man's just like, I'm tired. I just don't feel like talking today. You're marrying that girl at the Walmart, aren't you? Like, what? I have some deep issues that I need to talk to you about, but I just don't know how to start the conversation. I don't like you anymore. Things this does mean. I'm tired and I don't feel like talking. Oh, facts, man. Facts. Because it's like, bro, guys will always say what they mean. They will. If they're tired, they're actually tired. If they don't want to talk, it's just because they don't want to talk. That's just, they don't have the energy. That's all it is. They don't have the energy. They'll pencil you in. I think I said that on last week's, or not, I'm sorry, on the last episode, where it's like a guy will pencil you in for certain things, and in that slotted time, if you're not trying to talk to us, cool, man. But then, we're playing our game, and then you want to talk to us. It's like, I don't want to talk at that point. I gave you your allotted time, So, that's a big one. We don't consider masturbation cheating. It's just a cure for boredom and instant erections. Facts. Because a lot of girls look at like porn, and they look at like, oh, you're looking at a girl on Instagram. They look at all that stuff as cheating. We don't. We look at it as just porn. That's all it is. Where it's like, damn, girl got a fat ass, man. My dick's hard. Cool. Beat my meat. Done. You know what I mean? We're not like, oh my God, that girl got a fat ass. I want to marry her. Forget my girl. Because that's how they think it. Girls, this is what goes through their head chronologically. They're just like, he sees girl on Instagram. He's like, fuck my girl. I want to be with this girl and marry this girl because she looks better. I'm going to message her on Instagram. She's going to message back. We're going to start a relationship, and then we're going to be married and happier than he ever was with me. And it's like, no. If a guy actually saw a girl on Instagram, messaged her, that's it. That's where it would end. He'd message the girl and that'd be it. There'd be nothing else. She wouldn't message back. She probably won't even open that message, if I'm being honest with you. Like, ladies, it just don't go that way. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. I'm sorry. It don't. Unless your man got a blue check. Let's be honest here. If your man got a blue check, all right, then yeah, you got something to worry about. But most of you out there, your man ain't got no blue check. Chill out. An eyebrow raise and a glance to the side can get more information across to a friend in a couple of seconds than it is possible in a few minutes of talking. Facts. I do that a lot on the show. If you guys watch the video version of the podcast, I do that all the time. I'll be like, and if I'm being honest with you, a lot of my guy viewers, they know exactly what I'm talking about. When I hit the
stop the cap,
they're like, facts, my guy. They know. They just know. And all the ladies are just like, what? What's going on? Why do you do that? What's going on? You know what I mean? They need a little more information. That's why I got to explain it. But the guys, they get it instantly. I do a little, and they're like, facts, man. Facts. Facts.
She belongs to the street.
But I mean, you audio listeners, you guys don't see that. But yeah, if you watch the video versions, I be doing a lot of that eyebrow raiser shit because that's how I just communicate with the guys. But with the girls, I have to kind of explain it. The lady viewers, I got to explain it a little more. But for the guys, I can give them niggas just a little, a little sideways eyebrow. And they know exactly what I'm talking about. They like, yup. It's instinct. We don't really know the code we live in. Or we live it. Oh, all right. Okay, cool. We've masturbated to a lot more than you think you realize. Oh, like when you actually talk, like when two dudes be talking and they're like homies. I'm talking homies where they be talking about the weird shit that they be seeing on the hub. Trust me, man. A lot of my homies be watching the craziest shit on the hub. I be like, bro, what? How did you even stumble upon that? And he's just like, bro, it was like one video led to another video, and then it just got crazy on me. And you know what I mean? So, yeah, and we ain't ever gonna tell the girls that because that is an instant turn off. Like, if girls truly knew what dudes looked at on the hub, they would be disgusted. They probably would never talk to a guy ever again. Because I'm telling you, the shit dudes look up. I mean, there's just some crazy shit. I ain't even gonna get into it. I'm not gonna put no dude on blast. I ain't gonna do none of that stuff. But trust me, dudes be looking at some crazy shit on there. And that's why it's like, let that nigga be. I'm being honest with you, let him be. Let him be. If there's something that can be done by throwing it or tossing it, we'll do that instead of carrying it to the trash can, our garbage, etc. This can end up getting competitive. Facts. That Kobe is real. All right. Especially when you and your homie got some trash. You just be like, Kobe. And if you miss, they're going to be like, man, you trash. You know? And if he misses, then it's a competition. If one of you guys makes it, there was a clear winner, you know, but if both of you guys miss, it's a competition. They are going to fucking fight tooth and nail. Like if two couples are hanging out and a guy throws some trash away and then the other guy throws trash when they both miss, it's long for the girlfriends, bro. It is long. The girlfriends be sitting there just like, it's trash. You just get up, put it in the trash can. That's it. Why are you getting up, grabbing it, and sitting back down? What is going on here? And the girls be just looking at each other like, what the fuck? And the dudes are just like, nah, hold on. Kobe. Oh, man. You're like, man, you suck, bro. You fucking suck. You missed too, bro. Fuck we talking about? Like, no, run it back. Like, come on, man. And he's like, nah, babe, hold on. I got this. Oh, let's go. Made it. He's like, man, watch, I'm gonna make it too. Bam, look at that. That's right. And sometimes if both guys make it, they'll go pick it up out of the trash can and continue until somebody makes it, somebody doesn't. And the girls are like, what's going on? Why are we here? It'd be long for women, bro. It'd be long. I think that's why girls don't double date anymore, because they're just like, our boyfriends are just going to get along way too well, and then we don't exist. Usually guys try not to involve others in problems solving unless they can't figure it out themselves. So when a fellow guy comes up to you with a problem, it is considered an honor to help said guy fix the problem, unless it is quite apparent that the guy didn't try in the first place. Then he's just lazy. If the two are good friends, usually the one being asked for help is code bound to make fun of the first dude for not being able to do it himself. I mean, yeah, he's right. Because when a guy asks you to help out with something, that means this man's tried everything under the sun. And he's just like, bro, I have maxed out my capacity of solutions. Like, there's got to be somebody else out there, because I know in setting up, like, even like my computer setup and stuff like that and things for the podcast and stuff, you know, I always have the mindset of there's always someone who's done it before me. You know, they've done it already. I just got to find the motherfucker who's done it already. And that's the great thing kind of like about the internet, is when you are doing something, there's so many easy ways to just bypass all the other bullshit and go straight to success, because it's like that. Obviously that's not with everything, but when it comes with like hands-on things, like when I built my computer, I was like, okay, instead of trying to do this myself and fucking up a bunch of times, I'm going to just look up people who have done it already and then follow them. And then bam, I learned it. And then the next time I do it, I already know how to do it. You know what I mean? But obviously there's a lot of times where like you'll follow the steps and then it doesn't work. And then you run into that like rare instance where it's just like, what the fuck is going on? So then you got to ask another dude. And a lot of times the guy is just like, hey, yeah, no problem. I'll help you out. You know what I mean? Because a lot of guys secretly take it as a compliment that you're like asking them for advice. You know what I mean? I know when a guy asks me for advice, sometimes I'm like, me? What? Oh shit. All right. Yeah, man, I'll help you out. Yeah. This and that and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It makes you feel good. It does make you feel good. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Piss shivers. I don't understand them, but a lot of men get them. What the fuck is piss shivers? Are they cold while they're taking a piss or something? Huh. Okay. All right. Let's see. We need guy time. We don't want you to hang out with us every time we're going to do something. Yeah, and if I'm being honest with you, as a guy, if you're hanging out with your girl 24/7, bro, it does make you soft and unmotivated, because when you're hanging out with your guys, it's a constant competition. You know what I mean? You guys are always trying to see who the best at this, and you guys are always busting each other's balls. I think guys need to hang out with their guys more than they hang out with their girl, because when they hang out with their guys, they gotta have tough skin. You know what I mean? Because hey, we be busting each other's balls all the time. And be like, oh, you fucking this and that, da da da. You know what I mean? You gotta have some tough skin to be with your dude. And so then when you go back to your girl, I think you're a lot more stronger, because you're just like, I endured so much hanging out with my guys. Now when I'm with my girl, I got that tough skin. I can handle it. I can protect her, take care of all that. You know what I mean? You're just more of a man when you're around your girl after hanging out with your boys, if I'm being honest with you. And I understand to girls that don't make any sense. They're just like, what? What the fuck? But it's true. It's like we hang out with our guys to toughen us up. You know what I mean? Our guys are going to push us and beat us and hit us and do all this kind of shit. And they're going to, berate you and stuff. And it toughens your skin a little bit. You know what I mean? And then when you're back with your girl, it's like you're just tougher for it. It's weird, but it's the truth. We do need some guy time, man. We need our guy time. Things women don't seem to understand about men. All right. 1. When your man is being all silent, you ask him what he's thinking about, and he says nothing. He's really thinking about nothing. Men can do that. Facts. We could do that a lot. Because you got to understand, throughout the day, men think about a lot. Especially if they're in a relationship. They think about so much because they know that the future of this relationship is riding on them. Because what do women look for in men? Can this man provide me a future? And so as guys, we can't just skip all the way to step 10. You know what I mean? When we're accomplishing something and when we're doing something. Men have to go from step 1, 2, 3, and it's slow, it's arduous. You know what I mean? We have to constantly be on our toes. We got to constantly stay sharp. We constantly have to be doing all this stuff. So when we get time to kind of like turn our brain off and just do nothing, like say we're just kind of laying there or we're just kind of sitting there, and a lot of times guys will turn the TV on and we're not even watching it. We're just enjoying thinking about nothing. And it's kind of why a lot of guys will sometimes play single player games and stuff, or they'll be tinkering with things, or they'll do stuff that they can do without thinking. Say they have like a certain hobby that they're really good at. They do it because they don't really have to think about what they're doing. It's just, they can just do it. Say your guy is a really good woodworker or something, and he's just fantastic at that shit. He don't have to think about it. It just clears his mind. He's just like, his mind is empty. He ain't thinking about shit. But, he's just, or, some guys, they play 2K or whatever, because for a lot of guys, video games are an escape, because then they can just kind of like be another person. You know what I mean? So they're just like, it's like I'm leaving my physical body and I'm just going into this character that I'm playing. And that's kind of why they take it so serious. But, that's just how guys are. We can just shut it off and be like, we're done. Guys check out girls and love porn, but that doesn't reflect on you or your own body in any way. To use an example, I watch Top Gear, but that doesn't mean I'm about to sell my house and kidney to go buy an Ariel Atom. I want to say an Ariel Atom is a really fast car or something like that. That's what I'm sure. I mean, he probably could have used a better example, if I'm being honest with you, because you got to understand, as much as, women hate to hear it, but guys, they want variety. They would love to be able to sleep with as many women as they possibly can. But we can't do that. We know that our girl wouldn't be down for that. So we're like, that's cool. So what a lot of guys do is they supplement that urge and need and want to be with other women with porn. Because with porn, it's like we could have that variety fulfilled without cheating on our girl. And it's a substitute. For some guys, it's not enough, and so they have to go out and actually seek actual women. But for most guys, nah, they're like, when they're with a girl that they love, they're just like, nah, but they have that natural just proclivity to want to be with other women. So they're just like, I'm not going to go cheat on my girl. I'm going to just beat my meat on the hub real quick. And once I'm done, man, we're done. Because that's another thing about guys is the moment we bust, it's like, we don't care about that anymore. We don't care about those chicks that we saw. Who the fuck are they? You know what I mean? Like, we don't give a shit. They served a purpose, and their purpose has been served. I'm going back to my girl. I'm going to go cuddle and kiss on her, and we going to go hang out and do our thing, whatever the case may be. And a lot of times, guys don't beat their meat in replacement of sex. All right, let's keep that under OP. There is never a guy that's going to be like, oh, no, I don't want to have sex with my girl. I'm going to go beat my meat. Nah, he going to be like, I'm smashing that Gucci. So it's like, if you gave the dude more, opportunity, or you were kind of a little more forward with wanting to have sex with him, he would. 100%, he would. All right. You're not really fat. No, really. Today, women seem to think that if they weigh more than a large smartphone, this means they're morbidly obese pigs that no men would want to love and sleep with them. As far as I'm concerned, if my wife gets on top of me and my internal organs don't spill out of me like a tube of toothpaste, then I'm happy/horny. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, there's a lot. The dudes like the whole thick thing anyway. Personally, I don't. I like a little more of an athletic woman in my taste. But most guys that I've talked to and most guys that I'm friends with, they're like, oh, I love a thick girl. I love a girl that's got a little chunky on her or whatever. It is what it is. I mean, as long as you ain't like pushing damn near 200 pounds or something like that, you know what I mean? Then you all right. Most guys they would fuck with you. It's just, will the girl fuck with the guy? That's, like, let's be honest here. Come on, man, So, you know what I mean? But that's going to go ahead and end that thread. That was a pretty, I guess, informative thread, if you will. It was something different that I saw, and I thought it was interesting. And I'm like, yeah, I wonder if, the ladies would enjoy getting a peek into the brain of a guy, because our brains are extremely simple, and I think that's what fucks girls up. They're just like, why is it so simple? They're just like, no, this it can't be. It's like one of those things where, you find the solution of something, and the solution was just too simple, and you're just like, I feel like I'm being tricked. I feel like I'm being played, and you're just like, there's no way it was that easy. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how women take it. But guys are just like, nah, it was that easy. We're very easy and very simple. So I don't know. I just thought it was a funny thread to go through. It was kind of informative, if you will. But that's going to go ahead and end that thread. Hop into announcements. We'll recap Haunting Adeline's last week episode, and then we'll hop into chapters 30 and 31. Patreon.com/My Last Podcast. $3 a month gets you an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenarios to be featured on Tuesday and Sunday episodes. Audio listeners, my goodness, my brain always blanks. Like, I get the TikTok, I get the Patreon thing all super fast, and then I blank out. Audio listeners, thank you for all the support. Keep downloading as well as rating the podcast. 5 stars is preferable. It helps out immensely when you guys download and when you guys rate the podcast. TikTok as well as Instagram. Get over there for the clips. If you guys don't, if you like more short form content, or, if you just want to see the best parts of every single episode, TikTok and Instagram is the place to be. If you guys want to help even more on the free 99 side, youtube.com/My Last Podcast. Get over there and hit the subscribe button. Even if you don't watch over there, hitting the subscribe button does help a lot. So I appreciate you guys so much for that. All right, let's get into the recap of Haunting Adeline. So, when we left off, Adeline and Daya were at the fair. I forgot what they called that fair. It was like Satan or something like that. But they were at a haunted fair. Adeline and Daya love the haunted fair. They go all the time. And so they actually meet Mark and all those other guys there. And we were like, oh shit. Now, Mark and all them and Adeline, they meet up, and Mark's like, oh, where's Zach? And she's like, oh, he went to the bathroom or whatever, and he bought the story. And so they Adeline and Dia, they walk around, they go do their thing, and Zayd is actually there. Zayd is there, and so he was actually taking care of some business, and he was doing his thing. How he takes care of unaliving the pedophiles and their rings and all that kind of stuff, and that's what he was doing. He was working a job while following Adeline at the same time. That nigga got a little thing for her, so he was doing that. And so after that, he handles his business, does what he got to do, and then he meets up with Adeline, and she goes through the House of Mirrors. She loves the House of Mirrors, and she's like describing why she likes the House of Mirrors and all that kind of stuff. And Zayd is in the House of Mirrors with her, and Zayd's just like, if I catch you, I'm gonna fuck you. And guess what happened? She got caught. All right, she got caught, and they was doing their thing. And so I'm sure this episode is going to start with Adeline getting her coochie smashed out, and then we'll go on from there. So without further ado, though, let's get into chapters 30 and 31 of Haunting Adeline. Oh my goodness.
Chapter 30. The Manipulator. He has the strangest ability to suck the air from my lungs with a simple look. And when his terrifying words accompany the deadly stare, it feels like I don't have any lungs at all. The hoodie parts and he slowly pulls it down my arms. The material drops to the floor where muddy shoes have trekked across 1,000 times tonight. It feels like a cruel metaphor. Along with my clothes, my flesh and soul will be stained tonight. Someone could come in here, I whisper, my voice barely penetrating the tension in the air. He smiles, a wicked smile that tells me he wouldn't mind if someone did.
What do you think they'd do?
He implores, as he lifts my shirt, the pads of his fingers grazing my skin. Goosebumps rise, a physical reaction from the electricity dancing across my skin wherever he touches me.
Do you think they'd watch?
He asks.
Do you think they'd enjoy the sight of your naked flesh on display? Maybe they would get off on seeing your dripping pussy reflected back at them everywhere they look, or the pretty flush on your chest when you come. I think they'd even enjoy watching your eyes roll to the back of your head when my cock fills you so fully you can't fit any more of me inside you.
A shot of fear injects straight into my heart, forcing the muscle into overdrive. But yet, my body still responds in a much darker way. Just like his words, I feel my pussy pulsate as my panties gradually dampen until it's exactly like he said, dripping. Would I be okay with a stranger watching? I don't think so, but something about the way he paints the picture makes me wonder if I'd let it happen anyway. You'd be okay with other people seeing me naked? I challenge, breathlessly, watching my shirt flutter to the black floor. His fingers drift up my spine, slow and deliberate. They burn like lava, searing my flesh.
No.
He murmurs in my ear. I watch him through the mirror, his eyes drifting down until they're targeted on my chest. The band of my bra tightens, the material biting into my skin before it loosens. The black lacy cups supporting my breasts fall and bare me completely. My nipples are painfully tight. When he catches sight of my hardened peaks, his tongue drifts across his lower lip as if he's salivating at the sight.
You want to know what I'd do?
He questions.
I would let them watch. I would let them watch me claim you as mine and own every inch of your body. They would watch my cock fill every one of your holes and then watch you cry because of how hard you came. And then I'd fucking kill them. My cock would still be wet from your cum as I'd slice their throats for even daring to look at what's mine.
The fear inside me tightens into a sharp point, threatening to pop the balloon of sanity I have left. You're psychotic, I gasp. This time he laughs, the dark rumble traveling straight to the apex of my thighs.
You will learn to love it.
he murmurs distractedly. His attention has been pulled away as his hands drift across my flat stomach and cup my breasts. I don't have small breasts by any means. I was blessed with good genes. But the size of his hands, they're so big that they make my breasts look small, barely overflowing his hands. He's a monster inside and out. Still, I feel my panties becoming more drenched. It shouldn't be possible for the body to concurrently feel hate and desire, but I suppose we would all be lifeless without the complexities of human emotion. He squeezes my breasts nearly to the point of pain.
I'm going to fuck these soon,
he promises before releasing them and moving his hands to the button of my jeans. With a single flick of his hands, my actions creep in no stealthier than a bank robber in a vault full of money. What the fuck are you doing, Addie? Fuck, I don't know. This is wrong, so very wrong. But I don't stop him from unzipping my jeans. Nor do I stop him from hooking his thumbs on either side and pulling them down. He helps me out of my shoes first, and then slips the jeans completely free. I'm left in nothing but my black, lacy thong. I swallow, my heart racing as I take in our reflection. He's still fully clothed, his eyes ping-ponging across the mirrors to look at every angle of my undressed state. He looks as if he can't decide which mirror to settle on. I fight the urge to cover myself. I find the act of hiding more embarrassing than standing almost fully naked in front of a beautiful man. You have to undress too, I insist. No way am I going to be the only one left exposed. Finally, he comes out from behind me and stands before me. It hurts to meet his mismatched eyes. It feels more real when I'm not looking at them through a glass mirror. For the first time, this moment with Zaid feels consensual. And I'm not sure if I want that. But what fucking sense does that make, to not want it to be consensual? Yet, there's some sick part of me that wants him to force this, so I can play victim later, go on pretending that my pussy isn't weeping for him and that I'm not anticipating the feel of him inside of me. It's easier to play the victim when you're not the mastermind behind all your bad decisions.
If you really want that, little mouse, then you're going to have to do it,
he says quietly. He looks at me as if he doesn't believe I'll willingly undress him, and I think he knows what that look does to me. The asshole knows exactly how incapable I am of backing down from a challenge. I pay him the same respect he paid me. I undress him slowly, gently, deliberately brushing my fingers against his skin and earning my own shivers and growls of impatience. I gasp when I remove his shirt. The scars on his face don't end there. 2 severe knife wounds blemish his skin, one cutting across his heart and the other across his defined abs. The skin is raised and jagged, a stark pink against his tanned skin. And they still hurt him. When I brush my fingertips over them, he tenses beneath my touch and bares his teeth. It's not a physical pain. These scars have long healed, but they're like icebergs. They're unmistakable and imposing on the outside, but beneath the surface is something much bigger and threatening. Something capable of sinking someone to the pits of their depravity, just like the Titanic. They hurt him deeply on the inside, and I really want to know what caused them. Where there aren't scars, there are intricate tattoos. A dragon coils up his side and across his chest, fire blooming from its mouth and down Zaid's shoulder. A mermaid rests on the opposite side, a beautiful woman peering over her naked shoulder. The mirrors allow me a full view of all the others covering his body, down both arms and his entire back, all beautiful and expertly done. You didn't tattoo over any of your scars, I observe quietly, brushing my finger over the dragon's face. In fact, it looks like the tattoos deliberately evade the raised flesh.
I don't hide from my failures.
His failures aren't the only thing that make his body beautiful. He's packed to the brim with muscle, but not too bulky. His physique makes it very clear he can kill you with his pinky without looking like he takes steroids for breakfast. And as if that doesn't turn my knees to jelly, the thick veins roping from his neck down to his thick corded arms and to his massive hands are my undoing. He's fucking phenomenal. Carefully, he watches me, the intensity in his eyes blazing as I study him. He's nearly vibrating beneath my slow perusal, so I move on and resume my torture. It takes a total of 0 seconds before he's bristling with the need to fuck me. I feel so much power in my fingertips. I can't imagine how much power I'd have if I loved him. With every inch of his skin revealed, I grow shakier and wetter. It's not fair for someone to be so perfect, marred and scarred as he is. If anything, the obvious abuse his body has endured only makes him that much more edible. I choke on air when I pull down his pants, his hard cock jutting out from the confines of his jeans. It will never get any less intimidating, no matter how many times I see it. Not unless I suddenly accept death via dick one day. When he's entirely naked, I take a big step back from him and look around. I stare at him from every angle the mirrors provide, just like he did with me. Thick thighs, tight round ass, and a defined back that I want to rub myself all over, and the most beautiful cock I've ever seen. I want to run away, far, far away. This man is going to ruin me after tonight. I can taste it on my tongue.
Are you scared?
He asks in another dark whisper. He's staring at me with an unreadable expression on his face. Yes, I answer truthfully. He smiles, and the sight nearly brings me to my knees. It's not right. How beautiful he is. He's definitely the fucking devil. I'm sure of it now more than ever.
You should be,
he says, his voice lilted with danger. I take another step back, but he doesn't move to stop me.
Get on your knees, little mouse,
he orders darkly. I pause, unsure if I should listen or find the common sense I dropped somewhere on the way into the House of Mirrors and run.
Don't make me ask twice,
he growls, his face dropping to a severe expression. He tilts his jaw down, glaring down at me. The danger in his face scares me, and my juices dampen my thighs in response. I don't want you to ask me, I say slowly. Confusion flits across his eyes for a brief second, and I show him exactly what I mean at that moment. I turn and start to run, but he's too fast. His hand snaps out and wraps around my hair, yanking me backwards. A sharp gasp escapes as I go weightless. He manages to twist my body so I land painfully on my knees, just like we both wanted.
You like it when I force you?
He snarls, yanking my head back until I'm looking up at him. His cock brushes against my cheek, warning me of what's coming.
You like being a bad little girl, don't you? You like to defy me because you love it when I scare you. You're a silly little girl playing with fire.
He taunts, a cruel snarl on his face. Tears prick my eyes from the force of him holding my hair, burning, just like the inferno of ire and lust in his eyes. And if I didn't know any better, I'd think there's a blaze of fire behind me, reflecting in his mismatched eyes.
Tell me, little mouse, have you ever been fucked by a man like me?
Better, I hiss, the dormant hate for him reawakening. Something very dark and dangerous shudders over his eyes. He arches that damn brow, and I immediately shrink in on myself. It was a lie. We both know it. That's the first thing I learned when I was put in Catholic school as a child. Good girls don't lie. The second lesson is don't trust the devil and his influence, but what they forgot to mention is not to piss him off once you've been influenced. Maybe because that's common fucking sense. My lip trembles as I berate myself for being so stupid. The bitterness and distrust are still churning beneath the surface. I don't know why I thought I could let him dominate and fuck me without fighting back. He'll kill me before I ever fall in love with him.
Open your fucking mouth, bad girl. Right now before I suffocate you on my cock.
This time, I listen. The second my lips part, he's forcing the tip past my lips and straight to the back of my throat. He hisses through his teeth, followed by another feral growl. I whimper and then gag when he forces his dick deeper. He's hardened steel wrapped in silky satin, but the smoothness does little to ease the pain. He's too thick and too long for my small mouth. Tears instantly flood my eyes and spill over as he keeps forcing himself deeper. Instinctively, my hands grip his thick thighs, pushing against him. As quick as a snake, he snatches both of my hands up and grips them together in one hand and resuming the hold on my head with the other. He holds my hands up high and against his stomach. It looks like I'm a woman praying on my knees. My hands bound together as I worship the devil himself.
This is what you wanted, right?
He growls.
Fucking suck it, now.
I do as he says, if it means he'll ease up. I suck, hard, hollowing out my cheeks and smoothing my tongue over the thick vein on the underside of his length.
That's it, baby.
He breathes, finally allowing me to ease back. But in seconds, he's pulling me back in, guiding my head back and forth as I continue to suck him. Muttered words of encouragement and deep groans of pleasure fall from his lips while he grows more forceful. With every syllable and moan that leaves his lips, I grow more desperate to please him, to correct my mistake.
Let's see. Grayson Parker. He was better, huh?
My eyes widen, confused how he knows him and dreading where this is going.
I almost killed him when he ran from your house naked, so somehow I doubt he was better than me. Who else?
He ends the last word by shoving himself deeper into my throat. I choke, and he lets me struggle for a few seconds before easing up.
Brandon Havati, Carlos Antonio, Tyler Sanders.
He continues to list off every man I've been with, which admittedly isn't that many, but it's a lot when you've just put their life in danger. He jerks my head back sharply, allowing me a single breath as he says,
I'll enjoy killing each and every one of them, little mouse.
Before I can muster a response, let alone another breath of precious air, he's back to choking me on his cock again. My vision darkens around the edges from how deeply he's plunging into my throat. It doesn't matter how much I gag and fight against him, he only grows impossibly harder.
You want me to come in your mouth, don't you? You've been thinking about sucking my cock since you worshipped me on your knees with a belt wrapped around that pretty little neck of yours.
I glare up at him, hate burning brighter than lust for just a moment. He smiles, or rather bares his teeth, when he sees the anger reflecting from my brown eyes.
You want it, but you're not going to fucking get it. You haven't earned that privilege yet.
Without warning, he jerks my head back hard, his cock popping free. He lifts me up by my hair until I'm on the tip of my toes. Zaid, please. I whimper, my vision blurred from the tears and chest tight due to lack of oxygen. I'm not even sure what I'm begging for, my life or the innocent men I've just put on death row.
That's such a good girl.
He praises.
I love it when you're scared and begging.
Just when I finally think I can breathe again, he steals it right back. His lips seal over mine in an electrifying kiss. My nails claw against his chest, earning me a low growl as he consumes my mouth with his own. The energy between us crackles and explodes as we both drink from each other. Sparks of fire and the taste of bitter wine invade my tongue. Poison has never tasted so good. As our tongues fight for dominance, he grips my waist and lifts me effortlessly. My legs instinctively curl around his trim waist, just as I feel the cool glass press against my back. The temperature warring in my body feels just like his yin-yang eyes. The chill from the mirror threatens to send shivers curling through my body, yet the press of his body against my own is scorching hot. A sharp bite of my pain on either side of my hips has me gasping into his mouth. In one swift tug, he rips my thong away from my body, the shredded fabric getting trapped somewhere between our bodies. He pulls away and positions the head of his cock at the entrance.
Spread your pussy for me, little mouse.
He orders. I open my mouth to argue, ready to tell him to just fuck me, but the look on his face renders me speechless. Frustration mounting, I reach both hands between our bodies and do as he says. A red flush stains my chest as I spread myself apart. It's demeaning when he knows I'm not supposed to want it. He knows I want him to force himself inside me, and as punishment for insulting him, he's going to make me show him how much I want him. By spreading my pussy and inviting him in. God, I hate him. His hands tighten on my hips painfully. Tomorrow, I'll wake up with handprint bruises. and a part of me dreads that. It will be impossible to forget what happened when I'm wearing the imprint of his hands on my skin.
Don't you dare move your hands,
He threatens, a second before he's pulling me down on his awaiting dick. Ah! I shout, my hands seconds from flying to his chest so I can push off of him. He's too much, stretching me wider than I've ever been. My eyes are rounded into giant saucers as I whimper from the assault. I feel his girth slide between my fingers as he works himself inside deeper. Stop! It doesn't fit, I gasp.
What a poor little mouse.
He coos mockingly, his tone husky and tight.
Maybe one day you'll let me treat this cunt like glass and show it all my love, but you've been a bad girl, haven't you?
When I don't answer, he jerks me down on him harder, earning another pained whimper.
Haven't you?
He barks. Yes, I shout breathlessly, squeezing my eyes shut against the invasion.
Are you going to be a good little girl now?
Yes, I mule desperately. The pain is morphing into something far more intense and breathtaking. He slides out and pushes back in, gentler this time, but no less angry. It feels like my body is on the cusp of bursting. This isn't natural to be so goddamn full. He pulls out to the tip, and then he slams his entire length inside of me, so deep I swear I feel him coming up my throat. I cry out, my voice breaking from the swell of emotion building inside my chest. Not fucking natural.
God damn, Addie. I can barely fucking fit.
Must be why it feels like he's tearing me in half. He starts out slow and forceful, harsh thrusts, then dragging himself out at a torturous pace before slamming inside me again. I feel my body beginning to relax, sucking him in greedily as he dams my soul with every stroke. Widening his stance, he braces himself against the mirror, and my stomach tightens, sensing the oncoming damage he's about to inflict on my organs. Shockwaves scatter throughout my nerve endings as he quickens his pace, roughly fucking me against the mirror while loud noises I've never made in my life fall from my lips. The pleasure is blinding, and the feel of him sliding in and out between my fingers only heightens the potent lust stirring in the pit of my stomach.
Look at us in the mirrors,
He demands roughly. It takes immense effort, but I pry my eyes open and sweep them over the dozens of mirrors. Every angle imaginable is staring back at me. It's too much. Watching him drive himself inside me, his ass is clenched from the force of his thrusts, while a red flush is spread up to my rosy cheeks. My eyes are at half-mast, and my face is twisted into undeniable bliss. He turns his head, and our eyes clash in one of the mirrors. My heart drops as I tear my eyes away to look around and see his eyes pinned on me from several directions. It's the most intense feeling I've ever experienced. Like that gut feeling when you know someone is watching you, but multiplied by a dozen. My eyes lock back onto his, and a slow smile takes over his face. He leans in close, his lips skating across mine as he watches me slowly come apart at the seams, all the while grinning at me.
Tell me, little mouse, have you ever been fucked by a man like me?
I bite my lip and shake my head, fighting the urge to roll my eyes to the back of my head. He readjusts our position, sliding each arm under my knees and hiking them up high. An embarrassing scream escapes as he changes the angle of his hips and hits a spot that instantly makes my legs violently shake. Oh my God, I moan. And this time, I can't stop my head from dropping back to the mirror behind me and my eyes from rolling backwards.
That's right, baby. I am your fucking god.
He growls before I feel his teeth sink into my neck. My stomach is tightening and I can feel an orgasm building dangerously fast. It feels like an angry Poseidon is in my stomach, forming a devastating tsunami that will surely kill me. The mirror begins to violently shudder from how hard he's fucking me. It feels like it's going to shatter any second now, but I can't bring myself to care. Just as I reach that peak, he pulls completely out. I whimper, the sudden emptiness almost painful. What? He drops me to my feet and steps back, pointing to the floor. My knees wobble, my balance screwed from the sharp pleasure pulsating between my thighs.
Get on your hands and knees.
I don't argue, mainly because the loss of the orgasm is painful and my legs are incapable of supporting my weight much longer. Angry tears line the edges of my eyelids, but I bite back my snarky comment. He'll only make my punishment worse. I expect him to slide back inside of me from behind, but his hands start between my legs and grab me from the underside of my hips, lifting me up until my knees are no longer on the ground, and forcing me to catch myself from face planting. I feel his hot breath fan across my pussy a second before his teeth latch onto my clit. I yelp, jerking from the bite of pain. But he doesn't torture me like last time. Immediately, he suctions my clit in his mouth and laps at my dripping cunt. He hums, sending delicious vibrations radiating throughout my core.
You taste so fucking good.
He murmurs before flicking his tongue against my clit. I look up and shamelessly watch him feast on me from behind. I turn my head until I get the best view of him on his knees behind me, eating my pussy like a starved man. The impending orgasm is renewed and more looming than before. I'm incapable of grinding back into his face like I want, so I'm helpless against his lashing tongue. "Zaid, please," I beg, my eyes crossing from the pleasure.
Does my little mouse want to come?
He asks, his own voice breathless and uneven. I would call him a liar if he ever tried to deny his desire for me, but that's the thing about Zaid. He's never tried to hide how much he wants me. He's never sugarcoated or denied the fact that he desperately craves me. "Yes," I plead on a groan. He pulls away, and I scream at him in frustration, pounding my fist against the floor. Fury from being denied a second time overwhelms me, and I thrash against his hold. He laughs at my attempt. "You motherfucking ass!" He interrupts my tirade by seating himself inside me, his balls slapping against the sensitive nub. I choke on my words, this angle allowing him in far deeper than before. I arch my back and dig my nails into the floor, clawing at the dirty tile as he relentlessly pounds into me. He grabs my hair and snaps my head back roughly, forcing me to look in the mirrors directly in front of me and watch him fuck me.
You want to come all over my cock, baby?
I nod my head, frantically. He smiles in response.
Have you been my good little girl?
Another wobbly nod.
Then fucking say it, Adeline.
I clench around him when I hear my full name spoken in his gravelly tenor. "I'm your good little girl." I breathe, too far gone to feel anything but blinding lust. He molds his front to my back, spearing through my tightening pussy. The hand in my hair travels down around my throat and squeezes tight, while his other palms blaze across my flat stomach.
Tonight is just practice, but I promise you, little mouse, this body will be carrying all my babies one day.
He snarls, teeth gnashing. His image blurs as my eyes roll and the tsunami wave finally crashes through me. I scream so loud, the noise nearly rattles the mirrors. Zaid's name spills from my lips on an erotic chant as my entire world combusts into tiny pieces.
Fuck. That's it, baby. Your pussy is so fucking tight. Milk my fucking cock.
Zaid grinds out. He ends his sentence on a roar, his hips shuddering as he slams into me one last time, filling me with his seed until I can no longer fit any more inside of me. I feel our combined juices pour down my thighs as I'm left panting and breathless on the floor. My body convulses from the aftershocks, even after I come down from the biggest orgasm I've ever had. I can't fucking breathe, let alone move or think coherent thoughts. None of that was natural, absolutely none of it. "I hope you know," I pant. "I'm on birth control." He chuckles breathlessly.
For now.
Before I can respond, a loud buzz disturbs the heavy atmosphere. My eyes snap towards the direction, locating the source immediately. My phone is lit up in my discarded jeans, buzzing wildly. Fuck. Daya. I scramble up and towards the phone, clenching my teeth from the feel of him sliding out of me. My thumb trembles violently as I click the green button on my screen. "Hello?" I answer, wincing when I hear how shaky and hoarse my voice is. "Where the fuck are you?" she shouts through her receiver, her own voice trembling and full of anger. "I got lost, and my cell reception has been spotty." I lie sheepishly, not willing to admit what really happened. Ignoring Zaid's presence, I scramble to pull my clothes on, cringing both from the yelling in my ear and the slickness trailing down my thighs. "The park is closed, Addie. I got kicked out already, and they said that the House of Mirrors had already been cleared out. The stupid asshole security guard didn't believe me when I said you didn't come out. I've been worried fucking sick." Just as I slip on my shoes, a muttered, "Shit," sounds from behind me, drawing my attention. Zaid is staring at his phone. His face is cast in a severe expression. He's wearing nothing but his black boots and undone jeans slung low, giving a mouth-watering view of the defined V disappearing beneath the fabric. Daya's ranting fades to the background as my attention snags. The light from his phone accentuates the muscles straining against his smooth flesh, the scars and the black, intricate tattoos, only adding to his savagery. The veins threading throughout his hands and arms are bulging and, goddamn, if I wasn't already leaning against a mirror, I'd collapse from how devastating he looks right now. That masterpiece of jagged scars and rough edges fucked me into oblivion and vowed that I'd have his babies one day. I can't breathe. "Addie, I swear to I'll be right out, Daya. I'm so sorry." I respond, forcing my gaze away back to my surroundings, trying to gather my bearings, which is really hard to do in a house of a million mirrors. She takes a deep, calming breath. "Okay, I'm sorry. I've just been really scared, Addie." I flinch as a different kind of tsunami overwhelms me. This one is filled with every negative emotion imaginable: guilt, shame, regret. "I'm really sorry, Daya. I'll see you in a few." I hang up the phone and immediately start walking off in the direction I think I'm supposed to be going in.
Wrong way, little mouse. Follow me,
Zaid says, his deep tenor causing me to tense, my shoulders rocketing to my ears. He's finished dressing and is heading in the opposite direction. Stiffly, I turn and follow after him, not asking or caring how he knows where to go, as long as he gets me out of here. After 15 tense minutes, we find the exit door and I rush out, the cold air a balm to my heated face. The fair is a stark difference to when I came in. The field is completely devoid of life, not a single soul on the grounds nor any lights. How long were we in there for? I check the time and my eyes bug when I note that it's 12:30 in the morning. 2 hours. I've been in there for 2 fucking hours. Sure, half of that was getting through the mirrors, but still. Normal people don't fuck for that long, do they? Zaid is somewhere behind me, so I glance over my shoulder and say, "Don't follow me out. Daya is waiting for me, and I don't want her to see you." Even I can detect the coldness in my voice. The entire 15 minutes it took to find our way out, all I could think about is how I want to fuck him again. And that scares the absolute shit out of me. It was the reality check I needed. A very stark reminder that I just had sex with my stalker. I shouldn't have let any of that happen. I feel his hand clamp around my wrist a second before he whips me around. I stumble into him, but he catches me quickly, wrapping a hand tightly around the back of my neck.
"I'm late for a date with a psycho girl anyways,"
he says, easily. My eyes round and he smiles when he detects the anger in my eyes.
"Don't be jealous, little mouse. It's not a real date. She's not my type of crazy, despite the fact that she's not you."
I scoff. "I'm not jealous. Let me go." I snap, attempting to pull away from him. He pulls me in close, his lips brushing across mine as he stares deeply into my eyes.
"That will never happen, Adeline. I will never let you go."
I stiffen, thrown off by the severity in his tone. He's actually serious. He crushes his lips to mine before I can respond, and because this will be the last time I will ever allow this man to touch me, I respond in kind. I clawed him, tugging at the collar of his hoodie roughly and clenching his bottom lip between my teeth, biting down hard until I taste his blood on my tongue. He growls and devours me whole, his mouth still tasting of my pussy. And then he rips away from me, breathing hard.
Go,
He demands roughly. I don't hesitate. I stumble out of the field and to my waiting car, the only one left in the parking lot. A fidgeting Daya sits behind the wheel, her stare boring into me. I sigh, readying myself for a tough conversation I don't know how to have. I'll stick to my story. I got lost. That's it. I open the car door and nearly collapse in. When I meet her stare, she's glaring at me with the heat of 1,000 suns. Why the fuck do you look and smell like you just got fucked? March 2nd, 1946. I told Ronaldo I might ask John for a divorce. He became so excited that for a moment I felt like he and I might finally have a future together. But then I told him that I want him to quit his job. He deflated like a popped balloon. He said that might not be possible, that he was tied to his boss and he doesn't think he'll ever be able to leave. It escalated into a fight. I understand his position. But I told him I don't know if we can truly be together while he's involved with something so dangerous. He made a smart comment that my husband is just as involved with danger as he is. I wasn't sure what that even meant. His gambling habits? We stopped having trouble with that soon after the break-in, so I assumed that John had cleaned up his act. Whatever the case, I stood firm on my decision. Sarah and I will figure things out together. If that means becoming a single mother, then that's what I'll do.
That's crazy.
Chapter 31. The Shadow.
What took you so long?
The psycho girl snaps, her dull brown eyes alight with fire. The same inferno in her eyes is what's still residing in my chest. My heart hasn't stopped pounding, and I'm plagued with the unbending need to fuck her again. My brain feels like it's been tossed into a skillet and pan-seared to a crisp. I need to focus, but it's nearly impossible when the taste of Addie lingers on my tongue, and I'm still gripped by the feel of her tightly wrapped around me. I don't know how I'm supposed to concentrate when I just found God. Or rather, I think I just became one. But how can I feel like a god yet be completely stripped of power when it comes to her? I don't know. All I know is I fucking love haunted fairs now. I got caught up with something, I murmur, sweeping the room for lingering employees, or any deadly surprises if the murderous look in the psycho girl's eyes is anything to go by. She's still planning on killing me, and the notion is laughable. If it were so fucking easy to kill me, I would have been dead long ago. These scars are proof of that. After our confrontation, the broken doll and I decided to team up for the time being. Since Mark decided to take matters into his own hands and try to kidnap and enslave my girl, I decided he was no longer worth keeping alive. The 2 seconds it took for him to conspire against Addie was the equivalent to writing his name in a death note. There's no chance of his survival. So, we knocked out the 4 of them. The doll said she'd take them somewhere where the guests wouldn't find them and meet up at midnight to get my answers and finish them off for good. Claire, of course, witnessed the entire thing, and the doll sent her running. I couldn't do anything at the moment when I had 4 men to handle, but the second I walked out of that haunted house, I had one of my men find her and take her somewhere safe. Plain and simple, Claire is an abused woman who deserves to live a life in peace. But she also bore witness to a crime, and I can't allow her the opportunity to tell someone. Afterwards, I immediately went and found Addie and tracked her the entire time. I let her have her fun, visiting all the haunted houses and creepy carnival tents, and ride the thrill rides, all while I stayed quietly behind her, just out of sight, making sure no one even looked at her funny without consequences. "Where are they?" I ask, pinning my eyes back on the strange girl. Blood is already splattered across her white nightgown. I arch a brow but don't say anything. She nods towards the stairs.
Up in my playroom.
She begins to lead me up the stairs but stops short and looks off into the foyer, seemingly staring at something. but I see nothing.
Stay down here until I call you guys up,
She says, still staring off into space. My brow lowers as I try to figure out who the hell she's talking to. She pauses for a moment before she says,
I can handle myself.
and continues up the stairs. Well, this is fucking awkward. I've gotten myself into a lot of interesting situations over the years. Real interesting situations, but this one hits the top of the list. Clearing my throat, I ask, So, what's your deal?
What do you mean, my deal?
She snaps. Those people you were talking to, do they not like me? I ask, amusement prominent in my tone. I'm still not entirely sure what's going on with her. Maybe she's high off drugs. Maybe she's mentally ill. Or maybe she can see spirits or some shit.
My henchmen? No, nor do they trust you.
Her henchmen? The fuck is this girl actually seeing? And are they supposed to be her helpers or something? You, told them to stay down there and that you can handle yourself? I ask. They're not coming up too? She pauses on the steps, whips towards me, and throws her arm out to point behind me.
Do you see them walking behind you?
I don't even turn to look. No one will be there. Aside from the two of us and the 4 men upstairs, no one else is inside this house. I smirk. No?
Then there's your answer. I don't need my henchmen to protect me from you. And since you're here, I figured they could sit this one out.
She explains impatiently. So, she's mentally ill. Got it. Ah, she repeats, aghast.
What does that mean?
It means you're fucking insane, little girl. Where are these demons again? Or whatever you call them? I ask, my own tone becoming clipped. It took 5 seconds to no longer give a fuck about what she's seeing. It doesn't impact me at the end of the day, so I couldn't give less of a shit at this point. If she wants to pretend there's gigantic talking bananas following me around with pitchforks, then I'll indulge her, as long as I get my time with the 4 men waiting for me upstairs. When she brings me into the room, they immediately start screaming, wriggling about like worms caught on a hook. I can't tell if Mark is screaming because he thinks I'm going to help him or kill him, but I suppose I'm going to do both. Help him atone for his sins, and then kill him for it.
Do they know you?
The doll asks, and I hum in confirmation, taking in their appearances and broken bones. The other 3 men look at me like I'm the boogeyman, and that says Zach, the self-made millionaire. Wait until I tell them who I really am. I'm sure their faces will look like Casper's. I only need to learn about 2 things. Find out where the rituals are being held and how to get into the place. And find out if the society is after Addie. Whatever else they have to say is no longer a concern. You sure no one can hear them?
I do this all the time.
She answers simply. I inspect her from the corner of my eye, looking her up and down. You kill people often? She's a small thing, but the girl can fight, and by the near constant murderous gleam in her eye, it truly doesn't surprise me. She shrugs.
Only the demons.
I can't help the small grin. Do you call yourself the Demon Slayer too? She snarls and stomps her foot like the child she's dressed up to be.
You're not funny.
I disagree. But instead of arguing, I turn my attention back to the matter at hand. Just as expected, the second I rip the tape from his mouth, he starts pleading for his life. And the minute I tell Mark who I really am, his reddened face instantly drains of all blood until his skin is an ashen gray pallor. The other 3 men's faces follow suit, looking at me as if I'm the Grim Reaper. I smile. I am the fucking Grim Reaper. I ignore Mark's reminders that we were friends, and his pathetic attempts to point the blame on his business partners while citing his own innocence. It doesn't surprise me that he'd pass off the blame so easily to others. He's selfish, narcissistic, and a complete imbecile. And by the look on the distressed men's face sitting next to him, they don't think highly of him right now either. In the short time that I've known Mark, I've discovered not very many of his colleagues do. He's loud, boisterous, and outspoken, always trying to be the cool guy and fit in with the crowd. I've also heard through the grapevine that Mark tends to disagree with a lot of his colleagues' political views, always voting opposite on bills within his own party. Don't give two fucks about politics either, at least not the kind that deals with laws and regulations. I break those on a daily basis. The fuck would I care about what laws are getting passed when I've never applied them to my life anyway? I also managed to piss off the Demon Slayer when she starts whining about not getting to kill them yet. By all means, start the killing, I say, gesturing towards Brad, Jack, and Robert. Don't let me stop your demon slaying. The air whistles, my only indication that some type of weapon is on its way to plowing into my head like the asteroids that killed off the dinosaurs. I jerk to the side, watching the blade sluice right past my head and into Mark's gut. That looks like it fucking hurts. And then she goes off the deep end, tackling Robert and stabbing him until he's literally mush. Despite the fact that he's no longer a solid mass, she keeps going. It's when Mark starts puking that I've had enough. Sighing, I get up and walk over to her, grabbing her hand and stopping her from her inane stabbing. She's got strength and energy, that's for sure. It takes a lot to stab someone repeatedly. It's more exhausting than people give it credit for. Stabbing someone even up to 100 times with the force she's using would have a grown man panting for breath. And while a thin layer of sweat coats her made-up face, she looks like she's ready for more.
Now you're going to stop me from demon slaying?
She shrieks, her voice pitched so high it nearly makes me cringe. God, fucking women and their screeching. Little girl, there's quite a few things you need to get serious help for, but I'd say anger management is top of the list. She stares at me, her face starting to get twitchy. She looks like a malfunctioning robot, and I'd say that this experience now takes the #1 spot of the interesting situations I've gotten myself into. She looks on the verge of exploding, so I rein in my temper and demand, "Look at me." Her big-ass brown eyes stare up at me, and if it wasn't for the crazed glimmer in her eyes and the fact that she's covered head to toe in blood, she'd look innocent and sweet. What a fucking lie that would be. Drop the knife. Her hand instantly seizes, letting the knife clang to the blood-soaked floor. What's your name? I ask.
Sybil.
She pauses.
My friends call me Sibby.
A pang of pity stabs at me. Something tells me the only friends this girl has are the people in her head. This girl is alone, completely alone. Judging by her niche for lurking in the walls, I would bet money that no one that works at this fair is even aware of her presence. Sighing internally, I decide to throw the girl a bone. Don't know if it's because I feel fucking bad for her or what, but fuck, I guess I do. You're an interesting person, Sibby, but I'm going to need you to calm the fuck down. I can't interrogate in peace when you're over there stabbing someone like a cracked-out banshee. You feel me? She physically relaxes at the use of her nickname, at me declaring her as my friend, and fuck if that doesn't make me feel a little worse for her. Reluctantly, she nods her head, and after reassurance that I'm not making fun when I call her a demon slayer and wiping an eyeball off of the tip of the knife, I hand it back to her as a peace offering, and then I go back to interrogating Mark, this time in fucking peace. Mark, are you going to give me the information I need? I want to know where you do the rituals, I ask, my voice as emotionless as my expression. Z, I swear, I don't know anything, Mark lies. There's vomit stuck on his lip from when he puked while watching Sibby completely obliterate his dear old friend. Shit was brutal, even I can admit that. I reach down, pick up Mark's hand, dig the tip of my knife under his nail and pluck it right off. Mark screams bloody murder, but the sorry piece of shit hasn't even felt real pain yet. Try again, I say evenly. He protests again, lying through his veneers, so I rip off another nail with the tip of my blade. When I position my knife under the third nail and lift, he finally gives. I almost laugh. The children he kidnaps last longer with torture than he does, which shows that Mark was always weak. Okay, wait! I pause, lifting a brow and waiting for him to continue. His breathing is erratic as tears and snot track down his face. Licking his lips nervously, he confesses, Some of the people we take them to an underground club. Their blood gives us power unlike anything you've ever seen. Sibby comes closer, her face enraptured as Mark confesses his dirty sins. I shoot her a warning glare to back off before I turn my attention back to Mark. Where is this place? I ask calmly, though a burning heat simmers beneath the surface. It takes practiced control to keep my voice even. You can only access it through a private gentleman's club. Saviors, you need special access to even get in the club, let alone gain access to the... He trails off, and it seems as if he's struggling with his words. Finally, he forces out his next words. To gain access to the dungeon. A growl builds in my chest, but I wrestle it back down. My hand nearly shakes with the need to plunge this knife deep into his throat. But I refrain. Yeah? And what do you do in this dungeon? His eyes shift nervously and his mouth flops soundlessly. In one quick motion, I flick off the nail my knife was poised under. The answering scream does little to abate the fury crawling throughout my body. I will thoroughly enjoy killing this man. His tortured cries as his body slowly dies will be my lullaby as I fall asleep tonight. It's not until I position the knife under another nail before he finally says anything of value. Crimson rivulets are spilling from Mark's hand, but I've barely begun truly making Mark bleed. Wait! I said wait, goddammit! I cock a brow at him again, urging him to continue. We perform rituals on them. Why? I growl. He tightens his lips, a pained expression on his red face. That's how we're sworn into the secret society. We must perform a ritual and mark ourselves as children of the eternal rebirth. They are cosmic entities and the true authority over this world. He really has lost his mind, even more so than the demon slayer. He confirms what they do to the children, the government's involvement, and I make sure to have him clarify the two men left breathing next to him are a part of these fucked up rituals. It takes stabbing Jack in the thigh before he admits to his sins, but Brad admits it immediately, not wanting to suffer like Jack and Mark.
Can I play now, Zaid?
Sibby asks, impatiently from beside me. She's vibrating with the need to kill, and in this moment I can relate to the little demon slayer. We have the same mission, and that is to murder some fucked up individuals. Go ahead and have fun with those two. I have a couple more things to get out of dear old Mark first. I concede, nodding towards Jack and Brad. If you don't let me go, I won't tell you anything else. Nothing! Mark shouts, desperate as death draws nearer. You're a weak man, Mark. You'll tell me anything I want to know once the pain becomes too much. You either die slow or quick. Sibby happily prances towards them and goes for Jack first. She slashes up his face, and it takes monumental effort to ignore her, especially when her cheeks flush so brightly. I can see it through the makeup. I swear to God, if she gets off right in front of me, I'm leaving. I bend down, getting eye level with Mark, and hold the knife to his dick. The tool he uses to torture young children will definitely be getting a knife plunged through it tonight while he's still breathing. Who did you speak to about Addie? I ask. Mark stutters, his eyes continuously glancing over to his friend's torture. A bone cracks, followed by Jack's loud wail of pain. I dig the knife down further. Mark's eyes snap back to mine at the clear threat. Focus on me, Mark, I say darkly. Who did you speak to about Addie? Licking his lips, he asks. In what regard? In any regard that has to do with you kidnapping my girl and selling her, like you were planning to do before I walked in. Did you speak about her to anyone in a position of power involved with these rituals, or saviors? I know the answer before he opens his fucking mouth and says it. The dimming of his eyes as he accepts that he's about to suffer a great deal more pain. Yes, he whispers. I lose my composure for just a second, enough to snarl and slice my knife across his chest. He screams, his face beet red from the agony coursing through him, but I'm not done, not by a fucking long shot. Who? I bark, losing my control over the beast threatening to rip out of my chest. When Mark continues to moan in pain, I poise the knife right back over his dick and dig it in sharply. Enough to break skin, but not enough to cause any real damage. Yet. Okay, Mark yelps, his eyes widening at the pain. Who? I boom. I want fucking names, Mark. He sniffles, but gives me the names I need to know. The names of the people operating the rituals. Names that are more than likely aliases. But it's a start. He admits he's never seen their faces before, and all communication has been through a video feed where they're shadowed in darkness. There's some type of secret underground government, and based on Mark's ramblings, they have far more control over our government than I thought. The president is just a puppet, and these people who refer to themselves as the Society, they hold the real power. Tell me why you did this, Mark. Why did you insist on going after Addie when you knew she was mine? His chin trembles, the waste of flesh the epitome of a pathetic old man. She was already marked. My heart drops, thudding down my spine like a deflated basketball rolling down a staircase. I took a picture of her because she looked familiar, and when she told me her name, I realized that she was a target of the Societies. It worked out perfectly that they happened to call me, and I told them everything. She's worth a lot of money, man, and the Society wants her. It doesn't matter to them who you are. It doesn't even matter who I am. When the Society wants someone, they get them, and if I was the one to bring her in, I would have been highly rewarded. He sniffles, though it doesn't prevent the snot from leaking out of his nose. Why did they target her? Mark sputters out a wet, humorless laugh. Why do they target anyone? If they're young and beautiful and happen to be noticed, they're on the Society's radar. She brought attention to herself in one way or another. It could have been from her books, or you know how women are these days, with the way they dress. I snatch his hand again and flick off another nail before he can finish such a stupid fucking sentence. As if showing any amount of skin is a goddamn invitation to be raped and kidnapped. His answering scream does little to lessen the fury. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Look, you just don't ignore the Society's demands, and they're going to come after you, Z. Mark warns, his voice tight with pain but also grave. I hope they do. They'll be saving me the trouble of coming to them. Knowing that Addie was marked doesn't only spark anger, it sparks genuine fear for my little mouse. It never mattered if I came into her life or not. Addie was destined for human trafficking, and the fact that she happens to be the girl I'm absolutely crazy about feels like kismet. It feels like fucking destiny that the man who haunts her is the same man who dedicated his life to destroying the people set out to take her life. I know you don't care, Mark forges on, noting the look on my face. But the second they find out I'm dead, they'll up and move. I've accepted this. I look over at Sibby, the girl now having moved on to Brad. She could be a scapegoat. If the Society gets word of a deranged girl killing these 4 men, a girl who's killed before, they would chalk it up to the partial truth. Wrong place, wrong time. An unhinged girl who swears she can sense evil sniffed these men out and decided to murder them in cold blood. She's the perfect scapegoat, actually. But the thought of using her, it doesn't sit right with me. She's a lonely, fucked up girl who helped me carry out these murders. Doesn't matter that she would have done it anyways had I not been there. Without her, I wouldn't have gotten the information I did tonight, and I can't let that go unrewarded. So I resign myself to protect Sibby. I'll clean up the evidence, dispose of the bodies, and do everything I can to infiltrate Saviors before they relocate. Will they demolish? Yes, Mark answers quickly. I let out a slow breath and nod. By saving Sibby, I'm giving up the first lead I've truly had. If you let me go, I can get you in, Mark barters desperately. I'll help you, and you can do whatever you want, just as long as you let me live. The other 3 are already dead, I say. They're going to relocate anyways. Not if you pin everything on this girl. That's what you planned, right? To let her take the fall for it. Sibby is still too blind with bloodlust to hear what Mark is saying, but I would have been honest about it anyway. Sibby and I never promised each other anything, and I'm pretty sure the girl still plans on killing me. But she won't succeed because despite what she thinks, it's only her against me, and I've fought far too many bad guys to allow a little girl to take me out, even if she is a little badass. I refocus on Mark. Do you know where they'd relocate? I ask. Mark hesitates, sensing that he will no longer hold any leverage if he confesses. I dig the knife deeper into his dick to drive home my point. I'll know if he's lying. No, he admits, his lip trembling. They wouldn't tell us until afterwards. I nod my head, lift my hand, and plunge the blade deep into his pelvis. His screams do little to abate the pit of dread and anger churning in my stomach.
All right. And that was chapters 30 and 31. Told ya. Hey, you guys probably already knew. We knew she was going to get smashed out in the House of Mirrors. She got smashed out. I can't wait until she has a conversation with Daya, though. That's going to be funny. But we'll get to that conversation next week. All right. So that'll be next Thursday. We'll get to that conversation. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you guys. Support us on all our other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, as well as downloading and rating the podcast if you're an audio listener. I love you guys so much, and peace.